Malaysian motorists, welcome back to yet another review video. Today we're taking a look at the Volvo XC40, which has recently won the 2019 Premium Compact SUV of the Year from the Malaysian Car of the Year Awards. Now, the XC40 is a very important car for our market for several reasons. First, the XC40 essentially replaces all 40 series models in the Malaysian market, which means that if you want a compact Volvo, it comes like this. There will be no V40, no more S40, just this. First. Second, this is Volvo's first compact crossover of this nature, and so it does carry quite a burden on its shoulders. It is also perhaps the most unique Volvo in the segment, carrying its own design language, its own sort of ethos and product brief, as it were. And it does certainly stand out from the rest of the Volvo lineup. But more importantly, this is perhaps the most imported Volvo in the range, because the demand for compact crossovers, especially premium ones, could not be any hotter than it is now. And as a result, this is the first Volvo in Malaysian history to attract a waiting list. They literally cannot make them fast enough. So, what's this car all about then? At over 250,000 ringgit, the Volvo XC40 certainly offers quite a lot. You've got advanced driver assist features, a 2-litre turbocharged engine, you've got 8-speed automatic all-wheel drive, you have all of that vaunted Volvo safety features, of course, as well as a certain appeal that Volvos of yore certainly never offered. So, is this the defining segment leader then? Or do the German competitors in the form of the Mercedes-Benz GLA and the BMW X1 still have what it takes to take on this seemingly all-conquering Swede? In this video, we will explore this car's design, practicality, running costs, as well as its overall competitivity and appeal in the marketplace. This is another Malaysian Motoring review video. I'm Aiman I. Abdullah. Let's get into it. So then, the Volvo XC40. Let's start with the basics. So this is a compact premium SUV along the lines of the BMW X1 and the Mercedes-Benz GLA. It is powered by a 2-litre 4-cylinder drive E engine, and it puts power to all 4 wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox. This is in fact one of very few competitors in this segment that offers all-wheel drive as standard, and as a result it certainly offers a degree of security and peace of mind, particularly for Malaysians that have to regularly tackle bad weather. On top of that, compared to most of the mainstream offerings, the XC40 offers a more upright, a more traditional SUV sort of appeal, because you sit very high up, you sit very upright, as opposed to SUVs and crossovers now that want you to be hunkered down. On top of that, the XC40's overall exterior also has the same ethos. It's very tall and very boxy. And as a result, not only does it look very different from everything else in the segment, it also looks very different from every other Volvo currently available, for better or for worse. I personally really like it. I like when SUVs look like SUVs and they don't look like jumped up hatchbacks. And so this car certainly appeals in that regard. And this imperious driving position that I have is certainly something that appeals to me. I like sitting like this and driving like this in a Range Rover. And in order to get this sort of driving experience in a compact crossover, perfect for town driving, is wonderful. Now, there are certain things about this car that's worth pointing out. First, you can see the integration of some very unique Volvo features, such as the Thor's Hammer LED daytime running lights, as well as the rear tail lights, which have the typical Volvo haunches that help to accentuate and underline this car's very strong squat appeal. But aside from that, this car basically started on a clean sheet of paper. In fact, the design for this car was described by its designer, whose name I have completely forgotten, as a tough little robot. And if that was the brief, this car certainly hit it. It looks tough, it looks robotic in a good way, and it looks really cool. In fact, this particular car in its black on white color scheme with a black roof and a white pearl white body actually looks a little bit like a stormtrooper, which I really like. Now, as I said, this car is very much an upright SUV, but despite that, Volvo has still thrown in some very nice touches, the sort of thing that you'd expect from a car in this segment. For example, you have the gloss black grille featuring little plastic pins in it, which look a little bit like Mercedes-Benz's diamond pin grille, but perhaps less diamondy, which is nice, I guess. And you also get large R-design alloy wheels, as this car is offered in Malaysia only as an R-design. And as a result, you also get lots of other piano black bits along the bumpers and stuff like that. It just makes the car look really cool. You also get an R-design badge on the C-pillar, the very chunky C-pillar, which we'll get to in a moment. But overall, this car certainly looks great. For very style-oriented buyers, which are the kind that you tend to get in this segment, I'm sure this car will be very appealing. Now on the inside, the design features don't stop. You have an R-design steering wheel, which is very chunky and very nice. You get this R-design interior package, which means you get a black upholstery colorway with Alcantara or nubuck centers, as well as perforated leather outsides, and as well as more leather in other places, as well as this lovely sort of, this isn't piping, is it piping? No. This sort of white insert that you get along the sides and stuff, which does look really cool. My only concern with the use of nubuck in here is that long-term usability may be hampered, especially if you have children, because I don't expect that this would weather well with any sort of water-type stains or spills and stuff like that. I could be wrong. I would expect to see a response from Volvo on this matter, but that's a personal reservation. Now, the interior, aside from the upholstery, the overall interior architecture is very familiar to anyone who spent a lot of time in Volvos, because you still have the 9-inch Sensus infotainment screen, you still get a 12.3-inch driver's display, all digital, and the Sensus screen is very good, as per usual. You have your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you have a good audio system in here, not branded unfortunately, but it is a good audio system nonetheless. And you have an interior that looks very similar to what you get in other Volvos, but again, the devil is in the details. For example, this car has the world's first air-driven subwoofer, which actually sits in the dash, and the reason why they did that at enormous expense and complexity is because by having the woofer in the dash, it means that you no longer need the big speaker drivers that you usually get in the door bins, and as a result, the door bins in this car are absolutely massive. So you can actually put a 15-inch laptop in here without issue. I usually put very large bottles, like 1.5 litre bottles in here, and no issue whatsoever, so it's very practical. The practicality doesn't stop there though. You also get this little cubby on the passenger side, which is on that side, of the center console, I've forgotten the word, where you can actually put a phone and stuff like that. You also get wireless charging in this car, which is very nice. You also have a built-in, what's this called? Trash can, a built-in rubbish bin, which is very nice to have, because again, it just underlines the fact that if there is space, there are many ways that you can utilize it, and the trash can of course be removed to be emptied and cleaned and so on, and you can just remove it altogether if you don't want a bin, you'd rather have just a big open space. What else? You also get memory seats in here, which is nice. You get electrically adjustable seats on both sides, with lumbar support, as well as adjustable lower leg bolsters, or rather lower thigh bolsters, which means that you can get very comfortable in this car, and it's just a very nice place to be. At the back, you get a charging port, you get rear aircon vents. Unfortunately, they are in the center, not on the pillars, due to complexity and cost. But at least there are rear aircon vents, which means that if you were to bring people in this car due to our weather, you won't be sweltering and ruining the nubuck. And you have ISOFIX mounts, of course. It's a Volvo, of course you have safety features. However, in the back, it reveals one of the design flaws. Hey, another XC40. It actually reveals another one of the design flaws of this car, and that is that big chunky C-pillar. Now on the outside, you will see that the window line along the rear door juts up, as you can see there. It juts up and then it leaves this nice big chunky C-pillar, and it looks great from the outside, but on the inside it means that the window line is relatively high, so if you have children in the back or shorter passengers, they may end up feeling car sick because it's quite difficult to see out. It also means that when you're reversing, trying to look over your shoulder like that can be very difficult, so I would advise that with this car, use the reverse camera and always reverse park. But enough about the little idiosyncrasies with the design as well as the thoughtful touches in here. Let's talk about the driving experience, because Volvo has clarified many times that with its different product families, 40, 60, 90, there are different briefs as to how the car should drive. So the 90 series are very comfortable, they're serene, and they're meant to relax and lower your blood pressure, which is exactly what I remarked of the Volvo XC40 in my review. Whereas the 60 series is the perfect blend between that level of serenity as well as driver engagement, as you would expect from vehicles in that segment. And the 40 series, this, is the most engaging, the most fun, the most tractable of them all. And it's supposed to be the one that you would like to drive the most. And on that end, I have been driving this car for a little while now, and I have to say I enjoy it very much. So for starters, you get that very punchy engine. I think it's 254 horsepower, 350 newton meters of torque, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm about to put a little text box in the bottom here, which tells you the actual figures. And as I said earlier, power goes to all four wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox. And as a result, this car just feels really well tuned. It feels very suitable and suited for both city driving as well as motorway driving, as I'm doing now. And it's just a great little car. It's also very engaging to drive because the steering wheel is pretty communicative for a Volvo, and it gives you a great degree of confidence, which is again helped by that all-wheel drive system. That said though, this is not a hot hatchback. Anyone who tells you that an XC40 can be chucked around like a hot hatchback is lying to you, because ultimately this car is a tall riding SUV. And so while it is very fun and very chuckable and very confidence inspiring, it is unfortunately not a hot hatchback. And so I would advise that if you would drive at 10 tenths in a hot hatchback, go 8 tenths in this and you'll still be pretty happy and very well rewarded. Of course, realistically, not many of you are going to be buying compact SUVs like this in order to chuck around anyway, because if you were, you'd buy a Mercedes-Benz GLA and be very disappointed with the interior build quality. So we'll talk about how this car ought to be used, and that is both in town and on the motorway. On the motorway, this car is a fantastic companion because this engine is very punchy. And so you can get up to motorway speeds very quickly. Overtaking is a doddle because this gearbox is very responsive, and you do actually get paddles here should you need to override the gearbox and the gearbox mapping. And it is a great motorway companion, aided of course by the fact that you have this car's full gamut of safety systems, which means you have pilot assist, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, rear cross traffic alert, rear AEB, pedestrian detection, large animal detection, blah blah blah. I could go on for years talking about this car's safety features. And as a result, it does make you feel very confident on the road. But this car in town is also a very good companion, as it turns out. Now, the suspension on motorways, you could find it a little bit too firm because it doesn't quite soak up the lumps and bumps. This car never really settles when you're on the motorway. But in town, the suspension is perfect because it soaks up the very worst lumps and bumps that the world has to offer. PJ. And it never leaves you feeling sort of flushed. This car is very good in town. Very good in town. And the gearbox is, I won't admit the throttle response of the gearbox can be a little bit on the excitable side when you are driving in town, but I like to put the car in eco mode, which helps to retard a little bit of the performance, and as a result it makes it a lot more predictable in town, a lot easier to navigate. And in terms of the steering, it's very light, it's very predictable, you can place this car very easily on the road, and so it's a good town companion as well. So if you want a compact SUV that can do town and country very well, this is very much the car for you. But, as I've said, if you want an SUV for some reason that is good to drive, that will engage and be fun, consider the Mercedes-AMG A35H. GLA 45, sorry, as well as the BMW X1. Both of those cars are marginally better to drive. I really do mean marginally, but you do compromise in other areas. The GLA, for example, is not very well built inside. They use some very shocking materials, and it's also starting to feel a little bit old now with the new generation already launched. The current one that you can get in Malaysia is not so fun to own. As for the BMW X1, well, the exterior is pretty dowdy when you compare it to this, because this car is much more engaging and much more vibrant to look at. And the interior is not nearly as fun or as imaginative as the Volvo XC40. But as I said, it is better to drive, so it just depends on where your priorities are. Personally, if you ask me for a recommendation, I do not believe that there is a better compact crossover, premium at least, in the market than this. This car is very good to drive, it's very well dampened, it's very refined, it's very well built, it's very safe, and it is very, very well spec'd. If there was one thing I had to criticize about this car, one level of criticism that I had to throw at it, it is the fact that this car doesn't offer panoramic sunroof. I am a sucker for panoramic sunroofs, I love them, and it would be very helpful in this rather dark interior. Unfortunately, Malaysians don't like sunroofs for some bizarro reason, even though you can just close the sunshade and pretend it's not there. But whatever, I digress. If you want one, get one. It's a very, very good car. And if you're looking for the best deals on the new Volvo XC40 or any car for that matter, go to www.malaysianmotoring.com. Check out our tab, which is buy a new car with us. Fill in the form and we'll get one of our trusted dealer partners to get in touch with you and offer you the best deal and the most professional buying experience out there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, hit the little bell icon so you're notified every time we make a new upload, and follow us on all of our social media channels on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow me at Abdullah also on Twitter and Instagram. All the links are below, so be sure to follow us. We are full of information, we're very helpful, and we love talking to you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Happy Chinese New Year, happy Year of the Rat. Here is to success, joy and happiness for us all. We'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.